So I'll cherish the old rugged cross, till my trophies at last I lay down. I will cling to the old rugged cross, and exchange it someday for a crown.
Audience as well, but as well your guests. Thank you for giving us your time to be with us, or to spare time to be with us this great evening of East African time. And for those who are reading or who are staying outside this community, should I call it a community? Yes, East African community. We find that we don't have the same time zone, but we may say good morning, good afternoon, but to ours is good evening. Thank you very much for being with us. We've really recognized your presence, and thank you very much for your time giving it to us. Vian is my name, and I'm privileged to be here before you in this cordial presentation we are going to have, that is saying 1,290 days and 1,335 days. You convert them into years. That is a prophetic calendar. So that is just brief, an introduction about this topic we are going to have. Allow me to first have an opening prayer. Thereafter, after praying, we shall proceed there immediately. You humble yourselves with me, and we have an opening prayer. Our dear loving Father who art in heaven, thank you very much for giving us this moment of time. When we are still alive, let your name be glorified. We've come here to bless you, to ask you for forgiveness for every sin and transgression that might have appeared in our records before you. You forgive us and give us a good understanding, so that as we are going to discuss your word, you give us interpretation thereof. If you happen to understand it, and at the end of it all we happen to reach to heaven, we shall glorify your name. Bless each and everyone who has spared his or her time to be with us. In Jesus' name we've prayed. Amen. I guess you are following us via our online radio, and as well as this YouTube channel. Thank you very much. If you happen to have a question you would wish to share with us, you are free to raise us, to write in the comment section, and thereafter we shall respond to you. Thank you very much. And as I said, that we are going to have that presentation that is saying the 1,290 days, as well as 1,335. That is days, those are days as well as years. We should wish to read in the book of Daniel, chapter is 12, verses 11 and 12. First and foremost, members, this is not all much common in regions outside there. They don't like discussing. I don't think that they don't like discussing, so I don't know whether maybe they don't know, but this is a thing that needs much attention. So that's what we are going to discuss in the minutes that we are having. So you can follow us, you can share. I guess you have already gotten links for those who can access some groups, and for those who are watching us live, thank you very much. We have given much introduction about this, so kindly let's be together. We are reading the memory text is taken from the book of Daniel, chapter 12, verses 11 and verse 12. And here it reads, "And from the time that the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination that makes the desolate set up, there shall be 1,290 days. Blessed is he that waiteth and cometh to the 3,330 days." Anyway, in simple term, the King James Version is reading it as 1,330 days. But in this other English, they read it as 1,335 days. If for those who are having Bibles, I guess you are reading with me. It is Daniel chapter 12, verse 11 and verse 12. So that is what we are going to discuss tonight for the moment that we are going to stay or to be with you here. Thank you very much. And allow me to proceed. And here it reads, I have already read, so kindly be with us as we discuss this. And when we read this, you find that let's digest deep, or let's go deep in a discussion. If we stop from here, it may not make a sense, but let's just go deep and we see. Here we have seen that and from the time that the sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination that makes desolate set up, there shall be 1,290 days. That is 1,290 days. Blessed is he that waiteth and cometh the 1,330 days. Literally, I mean that it is 1,330 days. So blessed is the one who will wait until that day is done. But again, how can someone wait for up to 1,335 days? Of course, this can't be. This is prophecy, and we would wish to read you more or to give more explanation about this. I guess that we shall be able to understand. This is the prophecy of Daniel, and he was looking way forward. But if you continue reading, you'll find that Daniel was forbidden to give an explanation of all this prophecy, because he was told that he should go on his way, and it was for the people of after him. So that is what Daniel did not receive the interpretation of these days, of what you have just happened to discuss there, but it came later time. If first of all, if we happen to see these days, they started almost at exactly the starting point is the same, but they ended in a different time period. I wish you get me there. The starting point of these days is the same. They started exactly at the same date or at the same time, and but they ended in a different period. What I mean is 1,290 days and 1,335 days. The starting point is one, or is the same, but they ended, or the time they ended were different. So be with me as we discuss this. We have already read it. We are going to have much detail about it. I believe that we are together. For those who have already given their time to be with us, may God bless you so much. So here we go. I said that they started at the same time, but they ended in a different time interval. So let's go on and we see. We were reading So we are going to understand, we are going to have a deep understanding of these days. There are two sets. It is one set. It is having two distinct or different time. What do I mean here? We have 1,290 days, and again you have 1,335 days. So in the Bible prophecy, if you read the book of Ezekiel, chapter is 4, verses 6, and you read the book of Numbers, chapter is 14, verse 34, it tells you that the 1 day equals a year. That is proof reading. Ezekiel chapter 4, verses 6, and Numbers chapter 14, verse 34. If you read it there, it tells you that 1 day equals to a year. So if we say that it is 1,290 days, literally mean that those were years. I guess we are together now. So if you read, I've already read it. I don't know whether I can just maybe read it again, but the way I have said, that's how it is. Maybe for clarity, allow me to read it. We are reading the book. The book is Ezekiel, chapter is 4, verses 5, and there it reads, "And when thou hast accomplished them, lie again on thy right side, and thou shalt bear the iniquity of the house of the Judah 40 days. I have appointed thee each day for a year." This is what I guess this is enough. Let me just read it. And say, "And when thou hadst accomplished them, lie again on thy right side, and thou shalt bear the iniquity of the house of Judah 40 days. I have appointed thee each day for a year." I have appointed each day for a year. So literally meaning that a day in prophecy or in prophet is a year. So here we go. I wanted to bring a clarity so that we just move when we are together. And here it reads, we find that the starting point, it is a time that we have seen that this time, you know and understand. Why don't we first go a bit up and we first read it again before we just come into interpretation. It reads, "And from the time that the sacrifice shall be taken away, and from the time that the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and abomination that makes a desolate set up, they shall. So from the time that the daily sacrifice shall be taken away. So that is the starting point. I guess we are together for those who are following us and for those who will follow us later. So the time that they took away a daily sacrifice, and on its stead they put abomination. That is the starting point of these two particular number of days. Who is the daily sacrifice is Jesus Christ, whom they would plead for the remission of sins. So the time they took, they substituted Jesus with the man-made traditions. That's when these days started. I guess that this English is somehow clear. And when we just move or slope down, we read that this is it simplifies that the day sacrifice, it is ministry or ministration of Jesus Christ. That is a continual meditation and of worship. So by the time when he was obscured or taken away, and the rise of the Pope power or system which replaced the gospel with the human meditator and mediationist. I guess we are clear. At least I wanted to make this point clear here. the time that the Pope system entered in and replaced the mercy of Jesus Christ, and in its stead they just put their traditions and they became a meditator. The Pope system became a meditator where you would go and ask for forgiveness to the Pope, because you would do so to Jesus Christ. But if after they had removed that system from there, they replaced Jesus' ministration, and instead they directed the people to come and ask for forgiveness from them. So that is the very time that the daily sacrifice was removed, who was the ministration of Jesus Christ, and on its stead the papal system reigned. That is the starting point. I believe that that point is clear. And there was a historical significance that marked this initiation. When you read, it is in 508 or 508, when the Clovis, the king of France, by then, so not France, by king of France, yes, submitted to the Bishop of Rome and used the civil power to defend and promote the Catholic faith, laying a foundation for the Pope supremacy. It was 508 when the Clovis, the president, let me call it the president or king of France, by then, he submitted the Bishop of Rome and used his civil powers to defend and promote the Catholic faith, laying a foundation for the papal supremacy. So when the daily sacrifice was taken away. And here we just go. So if you count 1,290 days, you just call it years, as we said. And we have said that the beginning or starting point is 508. So if you get 508, then you add 1,290 days. It takes you directly to 1,798. I guess we are together. The starting point of these years, I said that it is in 508. So if you get 508, that is starting point. You add these days, because you have seen two sets. One set was having 1,290 days. It's where we are now. So you get starting point, you add these days. So it takes you to 1,798. That is the time. For those who have knowledge about history, it's when this verse in Revelation chapter 13 of Revelation verse 3, it's when this beast was he survived a mortal wound. Why don't we read it there? Revelation chapter is 13 verses 3. And here it reads, chapter 13 verses 3. It reads, "And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wandered after the beast." I beg my pardon. Chapter is 13 verses 3. And here it reads, "And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wandered after the beast, and all the world wandered at the beast." This beast we are talking about, chapter 13 of Revelation is talking about the coming up of USA, that is United States of America, is coming into power. sorry, it is not USA. I beg my pardon. Here in Revelation chapter 13, they are talking about two beasts. And here, the one they are talking, the one we have just read here, is the purple rom. And as I said, that it was initiated in 508. For those who read the history and who dig deep, we find that that was in the third church called the Pergamos. And if you just count these years, as I said, and I have just read, it ended in 1798, in that very year. It's when the Pope survived, should I call it survived, a mortal wound. And after this wound, as we have just read in Revelation, it took 1,000, and it took 131 days to be healed. Let me first go back to this Revelation. Revelation chapter 13 verse 3 reads, "And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast." So it had to succumb to this mortal wound, and later on the mortal wound that it survived, it had to get healed. There's a period that it suffered it, and later on this mortal wound was healed. And I said that that time in between, for surviving a wound and that wound getting healed, it took a period of 131 days. It had to survive. It had to how did it happen? It's where we are, if time allows us, and it happened in this way. And as I said, that it was in 1798, that is AD, to the year when the papal power received its deadly wound. And the Pope was the Pope Pius VI. He was taken captive by General Bassi under Napoleon. That is, for those who went to school, it is history paper 3. That is European history. It is just history, but it is connected to this. And that is by the time when Napoleon Bonaparte was the president of France. It's when he sent his general called General Bassi. He went and captured and arrested the Pope Pius V, who was the Pope by then. He took him into prison. He died from there. So dying, or capturing and arresting, let's just call it the same, and dying of this Pope in prison, that's what we are calling receiving the deadly wound. I'm trying to just move somehow through so that we can understand this. So after we have understood this, it will be easy for us to at least to understand the next, after we have just understood this. So the capturing and imprisonment and subsequent death of the Pope Pius V, 6, is receiving the dead wound. But according to what we have just read in Revelation, this deadly wound later on got healed. When did it happen? It happened in a year 1929 under the Benito Mussolini, the president of Italy by then. He signed a treaty of bringing back the papacy into reign. So it means the Catholic Church, or the Papal Rome, took a period of 131 years, when it is no longer having a dominance for the whole world as it was before. But after signing that treaty, it's when it regained, the Catholic Church or the Pope Rome regained the dominance over the whole world as it is now. I guess that there we are clear and we are together. So let's just move ahead if time allows us, and I will talk about the other period of 1,335 days. Now we have just concluded 1,290 days. We have said that it started in the year 508 and it ended in the year 1798. So when it ended by capturing, arresting, and death of Pope Pius VI. That is end of the story for that period of years. But before we go to 1,335 days, in that very time of period, it's where we see the persecution of the saints. It's where we see the period of 42 months. It's where we see the times and the dividing of time, which is 1,260 days in that very period. It's where the Church of God prophesied in a sackcloth cross. That is a time period, but we may not go into details of all that, but allow us to go to... Anyway, let's at least exhaust this, and maybe if we happen to get a chance for the next time, if we happen to get a chance, so when we shall talk about this 1,335 days and we exhaust it fully. I wanted to let you know, or I wish to let you know that in that time period, in the time that Pope Rome reigned, from the time of 508 up to time of 1798, we see the period that we may read in the book of Revelation. Let's go back in the book of Revelation. But before we read a book of Revelation, let's first read the book of Daniel once again. Chapter is 7. Let's start from verse 22. Let's start from verse 23. Daniel chapter is 7, verse is 23, and it reads, Thus he said, The fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. Verse 24 reads, And then the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall arise that after them, that shall diverse from the first, and shall subdue 3 kingdoms. Verse 25, And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out of the saints of the Most High, and shall think to change time and laws, and they shall be given unto his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time. These are 2 verses I wanted to explain, and I conclude for this part 1 of this presentation. If we happen to get a chance, we shall come with the second part of this. This is the first beast we are reading here in the book of Daniel, that was diverse from other beasts. And for this beast here, saying it was having 10 horns, and out of 10 horns were 10 kingdoms, and it has 10 like that, and it was diverse from all other beasts that were before or that came after it. And verse 25 is, and he shall think, and he shall speak great words against the Most High. Speaking great words against the Most High is taking this place of forgiving sins and and forgiving sins and iniquities of inhabitants of the earth. Yet this is the work that is supposed to be done by God Himself. And even speaking high, even blaspheming God, is just to take the names that are due to God and they give it to themselves. So where we see Reverend in the Bible, we read that the Reverend is the Most High, who is God Himself. So if you see someone is calling himself Reverend, this is abusing the authority of God Himself. This is what it means. And he shall think, even he shall wear the sense of Most High. This is persecution. The persecution started in the year 508. This is the persecution. It started that very way for those people who refused to submit to the authority of Pope, and who denied. So no, I may not call it denying. Who refused to pay homage, to accept all of these traditions that brought by Pope Rome. These are the very people who were persecuted. And this persecution, it stayed for 42 months. Dear members, and these 42 months, if you get 42 times 30, we in the Bible, a month is taking 30 days. So if you start from there, 42 months, and you times 30, that is 1,260 days. These are the 42 months. And due to the interest of time, we may not be able to go beyond this point, but we would wish to let you know that if we happen to get another chance or another time to come before you, we shall be able to tackle the second part of it. But we saw that it will change time and times. Changing of laws is abolishing, not abolishing, but substituting the first commandment that asks the people to honor Sabbath, and instead they put Sunday. Laws, they are talking time is now we can say that it is 8 p.m. That is the Kampala time, but you find that it is 8. Sorry. It is 8 instead of 2. So this interchange. Where you find the 7, it is 1, reading 1. It is just vice versa. So this is the calendar. You find that one is having 31 days, the other is having 30, the other is having 28. This is the time they are talking about. So members, thank you very much for giving us your time to be with us. All of that far from where we've just come from up to the conclusion of this. May God bless you so much. And we are happy for your time given it to us. We wanted to see if there are some kind of questions being raised so that you can respond to them, but there are no questions. Thank you very much for your time. Until we meet again, may God bless you. Thank you very much, our brother who have been in the technical team, for bringing this beautiful illustration before you. Thank you very much. Let's have a closing prayer, and we wish you all the best. Our kind and loving Father who art in heaven, thank you very much for giving us this moment of time to have talked to the people you've created about the prophecy. We have learned much, and we still need to hear from you once again. How we wish that you continue being with us and give us a deep understanding of what we've discussed from here, and we apply it so that if we know the current and what the future is holding, and we have to have the proper preparation for your second coming, you shall glorify your name. Be with us for the rest of the time we still have in this world, and you help us to do your will. This has been our humble prayer in Jesus' name. Amen.
So I'll cherish the old rugged cross, till my trophies at last I lay down.